We'll continue with the news. In yet another incident, 2 police officers have been feared killed when gunmen attacked a police checkpoint along Albani Road, close to the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway in Enugu State, Nigeria's southeast. The State Police Command confirmed the attack on the officers who were set to be on stop and search duty at about 9 o'clock in the morning. The spokesman, Daniel Ndukwe, says details of the incident are still sketchy, but that the command's tactical and operational operatives are on the trail of the perpetrators. But Ndukwe did not comment on the number of casualties. The latest attack comes less than 2 weeks after a police officer was killed by gunmen who attacked a police checkpoint in Ibagwa-Ani, a community in Nsukka local government area of the state. And earlier this month, 2 police officers were killed when gunmen attacked Mpamte community in the Ibweze North local government area of the state.
In the meantime, Nigeria's armed forces say they have neutralized notorious bandits and kidnappers across several theaters of operations in the country, especially in the northern states. Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Bernard Onyoku, said this was achieved based on credible intelligence when troops conducted clearance operations in conjunction with vigilantes. He also adds that some terrorist collaborators and logistics suppliers were arrested during the operations.
Scope of Operation Harinkai in the Northeast Zone have intensified the tempo of the operations. Troop carried out several operational activities as Buduwa, Bama, Pulka, Two-Way Village, Tashangoto, Benishek, Kukareta, all in Borno State. This operation led to the rescue of abducted persons and neutralized some terrorists. Notably, on 17th and 18th, troops of 15 Battalion at Buduwa in Bama local government area encountered fleeing Boko Haram terrorists and Islamic State of West African province fighters and engaged them in a gunfight. In the process, 7 of them were neutralized, and 40 cattle and 3 bicycles were recovered. Also, on 21st June, troops arrested some terrorist collaborators and logistics suppliers. Namely, Malam Abacha Usman was arrested at Benishek. Malam Ibrahim Gira was arrested along Damboa View Road. And Malam Ibrahim Gira too, a notorious terrorist petroleum supplier, was arrested with his vehicles. Consequently, troops neutralized 11 terrorists, arrested 11, and recovered 14 rustle cattle.
All right, let's bring in defense and security expert Dr. Kabiru Adamu. He is also the CEO of a security firm, Beacon Consulting. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you indeed. Great to have you. We just spoke with the Commissioner for Security Affairs in Niger State, where we had this attack happen. I don't know if you listened to that conversation, but let me ask you what your reaction is. Some reports put the casualty figures at about 40 with 30 soldiers. And I'm wondering, is that a normal thing to see such large number of troops at a place at any given time?
Thank you, Adesu, and good evening all. The reality is that in the current circumstances in Nigeria, where you have business operations, such as mining sites, especially mining sites that are operated by internationals, they do engage the security forces, both the police and the military, to deploy a certain number, depending on what either the military or the police can release at that point in time, or the perception of the security management team within that company. Now, this is what would usually remain at the site, and they would protect that site. So in this instance, it seemed they had a deployment specific to that site, and it was when that site was attacked that these casualty figures that we're getting occurred. Quite unfortunate, given the fact that there has been an attempt by the state government, just like the commissioner mentioned, and of course by the federal government.
Yeah, and that's the point. Attempts by the state government to push back on the activities of bandits and terrorists. Does the state even have the capacity? And then the question as to how this, could have happened. In your estimation, was this just an opportunistic, attack, or was it planned, strategized, and carried out? And the main question is, how come they were not apprehended in a way that could have avoided or prevented this unfortunate attack?
In my honest opinion, and based on the little information that is available, it appears it was a targeted attack. It was planned. They had an idea of the security protection, arrangement within the site. So they came prepared. They knew they had superior firepower, and they were able to overcome that superior firepower. More importantly, they knew that after the attack, they will be able to escape. Now, all criminals go through a cycle, and I'm using the word criminal here loosely, because this may be terrorists, and they may be, bandits, something in between terrorists and criminals. Part of that 5-step is the escape option. Now, in the escape option, what they will want is to be able to run away. So in this instance, they knew that they could withstand the firepower of the security forces, and they knew that they could escape. So clearly, it was planned and well coordinated. Now, just like the commissioner mentioned, and I must commend Niger State for introducing several measures in an attempt to reduce this type of occurrences. Unfortunately, however, it appears that those measures have not succeeded in preventing this type of single case attack. So first off, is the Niger State government aware of the presence of those expatriates in that state? Is the Niger State government aware of the number of security deployment to those expatriates? And of course, is that security deployment enough to prevent this type of attack? These are things that I'm hoping that an investigation would reveal.
And Dr. Kabiru, let's talk about the relationship between illicit natural resources extraction in Nigeria and how it fuels violence and attacks such as this. It's not new, and this is not a one-off, is it?
Not at all. In the case, if you look at Zamfara State as an example, it's well documented that part of the conflict going on there is fueled by the presence of natural resources, specifically gold, and of course, access and control of the land where this gold. Niger too has significant gold deposit, and beyond that, this is a public forum. I wouldn't want to speak much on that, but there are several other resources that are available in Niger State. And if we don't take the right measures, the conflict dynamics that affect rich and well-endowed locations in Africa, not just in Nigeria, unfortunately could play out in Niger State. So there's a need to put in place measures to prevent the movement, especially of these non-state actors. Now, I don't want to go into the discussion of who controls these non-state actors. As far as I'm concerned, it's not as relevant as preventing them and denying them the ability to move as freely as they are currently moving. And I think this is something that can be done by both the federal and the state government. Any effort that we implement, if we do not deny them that ability to exercise influence, to move around and pick targets the way they are picking targets at the moment. And unfortunately, that's how it will continue. The objective is to dominate the land. The objective is to exploit the resources. The objective is to create a situation where lawlessness is the order of the day so that they can continue to exploit these resources.
In 30 seconds, Kabiru Adamu, what needs to be done to help states like Niger, Zamfara? They all have minerals. What needs to be done in 30 seconds?
In simple terms, go after the enemy. We know the enemy. They are gunmen. Call them whatever. Call them terrorists. Call them bandits. Call them criminals. We know them. We know just like the Honorable Commissioner mentioned, they are finding safe haven in forested parts of the state. So go after them. Nothing short of that would end with.
Defense and security expert Dr. Kabiru Adamu, who is also the CEO of security firm Beacon Consulting. Always a pleasure to have you on the news. Thank you so much for your time.